couple split ends, but I haven't trimmed my hair since the beginning of COVID, so the fact that there's almost none and I do have a handful is not that shocking. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. If you're new around here, my name is Meredith, and if you haven't noticed, in addition to all of the fun costuming things, I'm a bit of a history geek and a bit of a bookworm. During the pandemic, it became a huge pastime for me to just sit down for my last hour or two of the day and read a book. It's a great way to spend some time, learn some new things, and one of the ones I really loved last summer was How to Be a Tudor by Ruth Goodman. It's inspired, from what I can tell, by a lot of her research as well as her experience doing living history in this time period. And the part that really sparked off in my head was her descriptions of day-to-day dressing techniques. So I was super excited to give some of the Haircare a try. If you haven't realized, historical hair is kind of a geek of mine, and I wanted to try using a medieval comb or a Tudor comb and I started as one, but it ended up extending to 2 weeks, just trying the twice a day combing out of your hair to see how that would look, how it would feel, and try that experiment on my own hair, see how I liked it. I mean, during the pandemic, there were a lot of people that were making jokes about, are you even showering? I deal with customer service in my real life. I've got a lot of clients coming into my office, so I couldn't just nix the whole shower thing like a lot of other people did. But I wanted to see if this would be as effective, and made the deal with myself that if I start feeling a little bit weird, I stop, I wash my hair with my normal modern shampoo. We move on with life so that I can continue to do my modern day-to-day life. But I think you're going to enjoy watching this experiment. It is mostly actually done in a vlog style. I was trying to get more comfortable with the camera here, and some of the audio is not as awesome. It was on my old camera, but kind of give you a rundown on some of the tools we're using in here. The crux of the entire experiment came down to these double-sided combs. On the one side, you've got whiter teeth, and those help you detangle your hair. So if you've got knots, anything like that. And then you've got these skinny little teeth. And these are going to be what actually helps break up the dandruff and distribute the oil from your scalp all the way down your hair. I have one that's made out of sandalwood and one that's made out of, I believe, cow horn. I bought them at reenactment festivals over the years, and I've used them on and off. I actually really enjoyed them. I kind of knew the basics of how they worked from doing other research. But I really wanted to try this because 2020. So we have combs. Some of the other bits that I had seen in doing research on hairbrushes from this time period were a couple actual brushes. They were more like a giant version of what we would think of with a paintbrush, where it's kind of on a stick and there's a bunch of bristles coming off of it. You see them a lot in some German illuminations. I couldn't find one of those, and I wasn't going to try one for this random experiment. So I found a men's beard brush. So if you're a guy, you're doing this sort of thing, you might use it on your hair. My grandmother had something similar in her vanity set, and it also is going to help distribute those oils down your scalp to the tips of your hair. So I mixed this up in there a little bit on a few days, just to kind of see how that reacts versus just using a straight up comb. I will say the brushes don't seem to be as common in my independent research, and they weren't this shape. This, I think, comes along later, but principle of can this natural substance transmit was kind of what I was going for. A couple of times I do hair taping, which means I needed a big bodkin. So this one is another bone needle. I picked it up at a bead supply store in Phoenix when I lived there. So I cannot think of a good place to get them for myself. If you look for hair sticks, and I prefer them to be 7 or 8 inches long, that have a big wide needle. That's pretty much what you're looking for, or big old eye. I have some silk ribbon from some of my assorted projects, and I used this for a lot of my hair binding. There's a couple different colors. And what I slept in and spent a lot of my time running around in is going to be this linen cotton blend twill tape. It's got some great texture and grip to it. I like the fact that it was a linen cotton blend in white, so I could kind of track how oily my hair might be getting as it changed the color on this, and be able to wash it at the end of the day. So without further ado, those are some of the basic tools. I also had a coif while I was doing this experiment, which I can't find right now. And let's get started. Good morning, lovelies. So I actually slept really well with this on my head, keeping the braids from getting rolled off and like shoving up into my neck or something. I haven't slept with a hat on since I was at an all-night camping event a couple of years ago, which was frigid. So that was interesting. But this is a nice lightweight coif. If I can get the lighting to pick up on it. There you go. I might make another one this week just to have a second one to kind of rotate through. In the meantime, I'm going to just kind of slide these off my head because that end I tied was so short. I kind of need to be able to see it to undo this knot. I actually am not working at my day job today, so I'm going to go and be picking up a couple supplies. I live in a super dry climate here in Colorado, especially right now with all of our wildfires, which means that the ends of my hair, I'm a little bit concerned, are going to be super dry by the end of this little experiment. I was reading in one of my books about a pomade recipe that I'm going to see if I can find the ingredients for to be able to put that through my hair. It's a French recipe, so it doesn't necessarily jive with the notion I was reading about from Ruth Goodman, where they just combed their hair through. But this could also be the beginnings of the pomade and powder that we see later in the, I think I was seeing part of it in the 17th through the early 19th centuries. I know it was in the 18th, but I thought I saw someone saying might have been Abby Cox or maybe Lauren Stoll from American Duchess, that there's some stuff that might have had it starting in the 17th century. Either way, that was kind of a cool find. I'm going to see if I can get the supplies for that, and just to have it as a backup. I do kind of feel a little bit of oil to my hair. Not a ton, but a little. I'm going to see if we can get that to disperse down the edges. And another realization I had, as cute as that little cap looks when I'm wearing, you know, working class kirtle, in general, clothes that also fit that time period and give it context, that it's super adorable. When I'm not doing that, it looks super dowdy and really out of place. So we're gonna go the Italian route and do some lovely hair taping and hair dressing for the rest of the week for day wear. But I will stop rambling, probably give you a lovely cut of me doing high-speed hair dressing here for a minute, and I'll chat with you guys tonight when I do my check-in. Alright, we are on to evening number 2. All in all, having my hair up all day actually meant I messed with it less. I have a habit of fidgeting with my hair, so I probably got more done because I wasn't nervously messing with it. And the quick and easy 15th century hair taping dispersed the weight, but was also super easy to do and undo. So there's that. Oh, hi Zoe. You guys can't see it in frame, but Zoe the dog is in my lap trying to get some pets. Hello. Hello. Good baby. Oh. Hi. You want to say hi to the cameras? Hi, puppy feet. You help? You want to help with my hair? Okay. I'll come to bed in a minute. As you can tell, it is late and Zoe is officially not about this life and would like me to quickly get the hair done so we can do bedtime. There we go. So I've been using a silk satin ribbon for my hair. It did just fine holding it. It actually didn't snag nearly as much as linen tape that I have used in the past. When I'm using for nighttime binding has actually been pretty good, but they can be itchy, so test them out. And okay. So you guys already know the drill. Enjoy some fast forward evening hair cleaning and hair taping awesomeness, and I'll see you in the morning. Morning, everybody. So apparently my balancing act I did last night was not correct with my braids, because partway through the night my linen cap fell off and my braids were just kind of hanging behind my head for the rest of the night. It has worked. It worked the first night, so I'm not going to give up on them just yet. My hair was a lot less fuzzy in the morning when I woke up with the cap on. So we're just going to keep moving along and we'll do better tonight. But my braids did stay in place because of the little half hitch knots on the ends of the ribbons. So that's a good sign, right? I do have to go to work today. I get to go back to being a modern person. So to keep this experiment rolling and meet the expectations of modern hygiene, I have brought in a shower cap. There you go. I was running errands yesterday. I purchased this lovely thing for $1. In the medieval and Renaissance periods, it wasn't thought that washing your hair on a regular basis was healthy. Something to do with the fact that your hair being wet goes in with their whole belief in the four humors and puts you at exposure to more dangerous things. I should not do really deep philosophical debates before my morning coffee. Sorry. But there's a whole medical treatise system on why they wouldn't have been bathing regularly, and hence why washing their hair wouldn't have worked. So I'm going to try and honor that part of this experiment by not getting my hair wet this week and just relying on my handy dandy combs and brushes to brush through the oils and keep removing the dandruff from my scalp if any shows up. So far, I've actually been noticing the oils in my hair getting distributed down slightly better with the wooden comb than they were with the horn. So that was interesting. Your own experiences may vary. And again, I'm keeping my hair fall to do an experiment with one of the the historical hair oil recipes. That way I don't risk walking into work with my hair falling out or something in case this doesn't work. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to dress my hair in a more mid-century Venetian bun today and use a hair fork. I have seen a couple historical examples of hair forks from this time period, around 1550s, and that's roughly when this hair fork dated from. It was made out of wire. The one I have is actually one I use for doing more Roman development and personas, impressions for you reenactors out there. It's made out of horn, and since I have to go back out into the modern world today, it'll create a little less commentary on my experiment from my boss who's in town. But, I know, right? Pick the week to do your weird historical thing when your boss is in town. So, wish me luck on that. Oh wow, you can definitely start to feel how awesome that is to have your scalp run through with the little machine. With the tiny hooks on your comb. I have two of these. I had a horn one and I think it's a sandalwood one that I ordered online at one point. The horn one I picked up at a historical mercantile, I think at Penzic, or But I'm gonna get on to finishing up my hair, doing my hairdressing, then going off to take my shower and get ready for my work day. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will check in with you this evening. Great, so it has been an interesting day just in modern working normal life. So you guys get modern PJs, 'cause that's kind of where I've been at since I got home from work hours ago. But hope you enjoyed the montage this morning of me throwing my hair up as I was listening to my boss. Yeah, so day 4, or I guess evening 4, my hair still does not feel gross. But we're gonna take it down, do our evening brushing routine. I did notice that it is much more secure with the ribbons than it was with the veil pin and with the pin. And it might just be that I've been taping my hair on and off for close to a decade now, so it's become really just second nature to me. This is I think it's a rayon ribbon. I got it because I thought it was silk, and then I burn tested the edges of it, and it was not. And I don't know if I've talked to you guys about the little cute pieces of cording. These are little pieces of cord I made out of some linen embroidery thread a couple of years ago. I used to use them to tie my effigy stays, but I've moved on since then. So they're really cute. They've got the right grab and texture, and they're long enough I can kind of weave them into the edges of my hair and tie them off. Another version of this I've done is lashing them. Maybe I'll save that for a different video. I just didn't feel that was the most practical way to go about it if I'm taking my hair up and down constantly. That would probably be more for styles that, hey, I'm going to leave my hair up for a few days and then go through the whole shebang. So, yeah. I hope you guys are finding this fun. If you've got questions about this, go ahead and leave comments down in the, comments in the comment section. You can tell it's late at night. So leave me questions. At the end of all of this, when I get my vlog up and posted to the YouTube worlds, I'll see what kind of questions I can answer. I may not be able to post links directly to the exact combs that I'm using because I've had these for a couple years from reenactment, but I will find something fairly similar and post them down in the description if you're wanting to try your own adventures in this whole process. If you're kind of just more interested in hairdressing, eventually there will probably be more 16th century hairdressing videos, different styles and some of the techniques, because that is fun and a huge geek of mine. But in the meantime, my blog has some good old-fashioned, like, step-by-step description with pictures that I took on my cell phone a couple years ago. So have fun with that. And ironically, I do feel that there's some natural oil in my hair right now. Sort of like I can feel myself combing out maybe little bits of dandruff here and there. But my hair doesn't feel greasy. So I actually have fairly oily hair, so I figured this would be a great test. Can even I stand doing this for long periods of time? But I think it really is the magic of this comb, distributing it down, because I haven't had to put in any leave-in conditioner either. So I'll have an oily scalp and dry ends in Colorado. And neither one has been really out of whack. So, here we go. Checking out my ends. Alright. So, as you guys have watched me put on that linen cap a bazillion times, I think I'm going to leave it here. Daily check-in. We are still doing well. And tomorrow I have to be up early for work, so I may skip the morning montage and we'll just be sitting here in the evening again for night 5. Unless I wake up with enough time to actually put some effort in. But it might just be me quickly whipping braids down with tape and running out the door again. At least this ribbon kind of fits my company colors, so it doesn't look terribly out of place when I go to work. But yeah, good night, and I'll see you in a few seconds through the wonders of vlogging. right, good evening, friends. Another night, and I guess the first thing I'm going to say is I don't have split ends anymore, which I did before. But my scalp is definitely feeling oilier the longer that I do this. One thing I did this morning that was able to help get that oil to kind of dispense down was I did what my mom used to do with her crazy long hair when I was a kid, and I flipped it over the back of my head and then started combing it out. It seemed to get all of the stuff up underneath and kind of lets everything hang free. Sort of like if I was doing a giant round of 18th century ski slope hair or something over a form. So we're going to give that a go with our handy dandy boar bristle to help distribute that down. Alright, friends, so tonight the big thing I'm noticing is I definitely can feel some of the oil build up and such, and my scalp was kind of itchy today. But tonight after I sat down, I think when I timed it all out for that time lapse, it's probably about 15-20 minutes. With this, my scalp is feeling much better. So, thank you, little comb. It's been sort of an interesting experiment so far. It's the second to the last night. I'm definitely feeling the oils. The ends of my hair haven't felt this healthy in a very long time. But up here, the oil buildup is kind of not what my modern wishes would be. It's not like super greasy, I'm having hormone swings as a teenager kind of gross, because I had that problem. That was unpleasant. But it kind of just feels like after I've been camping for a week, where despite my best efforts, stuff happens and it doesn't feel awesome. We'll see. There's a magical point from what I remember the last time I tried this, like 5 or 6 years ago, where it suddenly goes from being slightly greasy to poof and magical hair. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen in the next 2 days before my experiment ends, or if that's something that happens more long term. But I think I'm going to end it here tonight. We're going to wrap up my hair in the coif. We're going to go to bed and go snuggle with the dog because there's a storm blowing in. So good night. I will see you in a few seconds because the magic of vlogging. You're probably getting tired of me saying that. Sorry. So how do you think that this project ended up going compared to what's in the book? Huh? What I found quite a bit was I didn't have split ends. I think you hear me comment on that a few times in here, where my split ends basically disappear. I've been prone to them since I was a kid, and it tends to just be the dry, high desert climates that I end up living in. And with doing this, I don't get them. So that was a bonus. Eventually my hair does start to get a little bit oilier than I would prefer. Moving over to the boar bristles actually did help distribute a lot of that out and made it so I could make it to the end of a full 2 weeks instead of just one, because this does do a much better job of distributing oil than just the comb on its own. But even then, it was probably 8 days in before I started getting a little bit concerned about just using a comb. Another thing I was doing while I was doing this project was I was tracking my diet for my doctor. You know, if you've ever had to go into a nutritionist and keep a food diary for a couple weeks, it's an interesting exercise, and it kind of helps them pinpoint areas where you could be improving your diet to improve your health. I was reviewing back on some of those entry days where I was experiencing a lot of oil build up in my scalp. And the day before, I had actually been eating like junky fast food, like a cheeseburger or super greasy pizza, that sort of thing. And I kind of can't help but wonder if your nutrition and your diet might also play into this experiment a bit. I didn't set up a good control for that, but it's one of those things that I noticed in my personal experience and wanted to share with you. We're obviously not eating the diet that they did in the 16th century all the time when you're doing something like this. So we're modern people. Unless you're at a living history event for 2 weeks, that would be awesome. But COVID makes that kind of hard to do right now. So if you're wanting to try this experiment, maybe keep that side by side. Mix it in some historically accurate-ish redactions of fun historical recipes while you're doing this at night, and tell me how it works. If you are this kind of geek, I would love to know what your mileage looks like with this. Go ahead and comment down below if you've tried this. I would love to hear about it. You can tag me on Instagram at meredith.smith and let me see what you guys are up to. In the meantime, if you found this really awesome, I would appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up on my video. That way I know kind of what you guys are into. If you find this kind of content and my weird historical rabbit holes fun, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to post at least every other week. Right now I've been posting every week because I've got a backlog of videos I wanted to get edited, and kind of need to give my hand a break. I cut myself at work briefly. But I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.